Hello guys, welcome to the Forex MMA Academy. As you can see, sitting in the office, newly refurbished office. We've got our computer set up, we've got the paintwork done, and we're ready to launch. So this is going to be the first video of many. And what we're going to be doing on these videos is actually doing a case study. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is breaking down pairs and trades that we've caught from the past week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, wherever it is, however long we're holding a trade. Okay, for this video specifically, what I'm going to be focused on is GBPJPY. Been holding this trade for about 2.5 weeks now, and it's still running, and we've added various positions to it. But what we're going to be doing is showing you exactly why I took this trade, how I found it, and why we took it in the first place. Okay, so like I said, this is the first video of many. We're building an audience here, and we want to offer as much value as we can to you, the viewer. Okay, so what I want to do, which we'll be finding out about, is actually showing you and doing a giveaway. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is doing a giveaway. Okay, I didn't have the book with me. I forgot it at my house. I was supposed to bring it to the office. Unfortunately, I haven't got it. So here, you've got the Pipsology Smart Money Guide, which we'll be giving away. Okay, you could find this on Amazon right now if you want to. But what we're going to be doing is actually giving a copy of this away for free, plus a £50 cash prize also. So I'll be adding a description of how you actually enter for this cash prize and Pipsology book at the end of the video. Just literally watch it, and you'll probably see the description at the bottom of the video also. Okay, so we're doing a cash giveaway, and again, just watch to the end. I'm going to show you exactly how to get involved in this, and you'll also see in a description also. So we'll crack on. This is a trade that we're going to be breaking down. Okay, so GBPJPY, okay, risk to reward, okay, as you can see, 1 to 73, and it was a very, very great trade. Okay, so we'll be going on to this now into the charts. Okay, so you can see where it is right now as we're still holding, and we're looking for extra positions in here. So we'll break this down. So how did I find this trade in the first place, and why did we look at it? Okay, we first start off on the monthly, which is what I always do. Always looking at the bigger time frames first before we go into the smaller time frames. Okay, so overall, with GBPJPY, since we had our what we called our COVID crash, okay, we had our COVID crash here, okay, in March 2020. Since then, we always had a target of potentially reaching, okay, the higher levels. So if I just grab my arrow here, when we crashed down into this level here, our first immediate target was getting back up into this zone as TP1. Okay, you might say on a monthly TP1, that's crazy. But yeah, we could see exactly how it's reacted from this level. Dropped again and then made new highs from there, clearing this high here. The next target was to come into this supply zone into here. And then from there, we started having thoughts of maybe we might be dropping back into these demand zones over here before we then make our very, very big move, which could take months, years to even potentially happen back into this supply over here, and then long term, maybe over here as well. So you can see we've kind of mapped it out. Okay, so when you're seeing this, this is how we're mapping things out, and this is how we're trading. We're looking at long-term biases, okay, to see where we could be in the next couple months, couple years, but we're trading intraday. Okay, and intraday simply means on a day-by-day basis. Okay, so when we break this down into the weekly, okay, because we already understand where we want to be in a month's time, in 2 months' time, in 2 years' time. We already understand where price is more likely to be just due to market structure and understanding the whole monthly cycle and understanding our price action. Okay, so when we come into the weekly, as you can see, we've got this weekly demand zone here that we're looking at. And we also said that we could potentially start getting moves down here. So we're making some sells in here, just seeing the likelihoods that we will be taking out this demand in here to then come into this bigger demand on a lower levels around 138,000. Okay, so looking at this now on a weekly, we can now see exactly why we will be looking at that and then seeing if we can now take it up and go higher into those levels over there. So we drop down to the daily. Okay, on the daily, okay, we already know we could end up down here, and that's the likely target that I was looking for. But obviously, we still stay in line with market structure and everything else. So you can see we had, again, very messy drawing. Let's just take this off for a sec. Okay, we had some areas in here. We left IPA behind, left some IPA behind here, and various ones here and demand zones. And we start to see this market structure start to curve off. Okay, we start to see it. Okay, it's creating kind of a distribution schematic. So when we see this, again, we've been selling from here, just down to this level, understanding that we could potentially take out this demand and fill the IPA in these areas. So understanding that, we'll be selling. So the key thing here is once we reach this demand, we now have a choice. Okay, we now have a decision to make, thinking, is the market going to keep going down back into this demand IPA area, or is it going to shift off? So when we drop into the smaller time frame on a 4 hour, okay, we start to see things developing a little bit more. Okay, so we're selling down from these areas, okay, selling down from these areas, targeting this H1 IPA, okay, down here, targeting all of this, okay, but again, we are very precise with what we do in regards to time and the price, okay. So when we see market structure start to shift, again, our immediate thought is we've just broken structure right here, okay, we've also broken structure right there also. So we see this. So understanding this now, we start to say, cool, we understand that if price does anchor over here, we know more than likely we could come back into this supply zone here, we could come back into this supply zone here, and then make new lower lows. So understanding that, our thought process now becomes, we've broken structure 2 times, 2 major structures over here. We then need to make a lower high to then make a lower low again. So once we made this anchor here, we start to look into this, and this is where the beauty of this trade begins. Okay, so the main supply zone, understanding this, the main supply zone that we're targeting was right here. Okay, that's the main supply zone was targeting, because that's the immediate up candle that then shifts price down to break structure. Okay, so we understand that that's our immediate target before anything else happens. Okay, before market shifts again, understanding where the institutions would rather get a discount. Okay, if there was selling or buying, they always want the best price in the market. It doesn't matter what's happening, they always want to sell at the best price and buy at the best price. Okay, and this is why the Fibonacci then becomes handy, because again, if you went shopping, would you rather 50% off or would you rather 89% off? And the obvious answer should be 89% off. Okay, so we understand in this region right here, because that is the last bullish candle before we had that bearish run. Okay, when we're looking at this, again, you can see where the 89% lines up. It's like magic. Okay, it lines right up with the supply zone in there. So as soon as we anchored here, we said, cool, that could be our trigger to now start buying at least into the supply zone and then potentially look for sales again if that is the case. As we can see here, that clearly was not the case. Okay, so how do we now start to look into these trades to actually catch it? Okay, so now you need a various amount of knowledge and understanding to actually piece this together. So when we start looking at this, okay, and I'm just going to come down here. Okay, so you can see the risk to rewards. Okay, crazy. So we start to understand, and again, time and price in the specific days, you can see the days at the bottom of my chart here. Okay, again, we use that for a very specific reason. I wouldn't go into too much depth on YouTube because we say that specifically for our paid memberships, okay, our community that actually pay for this kind of content. It's not fair on them just to start telling everything on YouTube. Okay, so we see this. We understand that once a schematic starts to create, okay, on this occasion is the accumulation schematic. Okay, we start to understand that potentially price is going to reverse. Okay, it's going to start rounding off. It's going to start slowing down to then burst into the other direction. So when we're seeing this, we understand we've got a PS right here. Okay, if you've seen a Wyckoff schematics, you understand what these mean. Okay, if you haven't, then again, this is something we'll be able to maybe help you with. Okay, so we get the schematic here. Okay, we get the PS, SC, automatic rally. Okay, we shift down, we've got the secondary test. Okay, and then we got the secondary test in phase B. And then from there, we spring off. Okay, so once we create all of this, we start to understand what the hell is going on and what could potentially happen. Okay, when we drop into the 30-minute time frame, before I do that, I'm just going to go replay mode, just so we don't lose exactly where we are. Okay, I'm going to go into the 15 and 30-minute time frames. Okay, 30-minute actually should be perfectly fine. So once we see that, okay, we understand what's going on. Okay, we understand what could potentially come next. Once we start to identify we're in an accumulation schematic, we start to see this. Okay, we start to see we are getting the moves that we want. We get the ST in phase B. Now we understand that there could be a spring, and now we're just waiting for that spring to actually happen. When that spring does happen, we want to see exactly this. Okay, we want to see exactly a down candle, and then a very big bullish engulfing candle. Then price starts shifting off. What else do we do? Okay, we leave this IPA in here, which is very key. Okay, we leave the IPA in there. That's exactly what I look for a lot of times once I do see a shift in market structure or a potential accumulation going into a bullish run. Okay, vice versa for the bearish runs and the distribution. So we see this. Once it breaks above here, now we've got two areas of focus, and you can see where we actually did get a buy. Okay, we've got two areas of focus. Why is this? We've got our remorse candle right here, and we've got our last bearish candle before the bullish move. So now there's two areas of interest where I'll be interested to buy. Okay, through this remorse candle or this last bearish candle order block through here. So me being me, the way I specifically do this, I focus on what's in front of me. Okay, because if we needed to get down into here, what do we need to cross? We need to cross the remorse candle over here. Okay, once we do cross that remorse candle and it allows us passage, then we'll be able to get this last bearish candle. But until that happens, what do I focus on? I'll be focused on what's in front of me, which is this. So before this even happened, I started to notice. I was like, okay, where are we again? Because time and price is very key. As you can probably see, it's this ASH here and ASL here. Okay, you're probably thinking, what is that? And that's simply the Asia session high, the Asia session low. Okay, again, if you know about the Asia session, you already know what time these things happen. Okay, so I marked out this whole area because again, on this day specifically, I said, cool. I always do this every day. I wake up 6:45 a.m. UK time because London session kicks in at 7. I'm ready to actually execute something. And when that happens, I know the Asia session highs and Asia session lows are going to be very crucial to whatever happens. And again, I will not go through that whole explanation because it's just not fair to the paid memberships and the community if I do explain that exactly how we use that exactly. But we knew why this happened. Boom, and then down into here. So you can see what times these are happening. You can backtest it and do your whole own thing. Okay, and then we come into here. Okay, we come into here for this day, the 20th. Okay, this is now happening at New York session. Again, very key time and price. Okay, this happens in New York session. From the New York session, we spring up. Okay, now we've broken past our remorse candle, which is now an area of interest, and also this down candle here. So we're moving into the latter stage of the day. Again, these are the times that the community is advised not to trade, because once it's 5/6 p.m. UK time, again, you really don't want to be in the market at those times because again, one, nothing's really going to happen. Two, again, it's just not high probable. As you can see, as soon as it hits 5 o'clock, again, the price starts going sideways. Okay, so what time is it now? 10, which again, surprise, surprise, is the Asia session. So the Asia session kicks in again. Again, we make our Asia session high, we make our Asia session low. Okay, and then similar to the previous thing, what did we do? Okay, we broke our Asia session low, and then this was the entry. So how do we find that entry? Okay, as you can see, I've labeled it here 5 minute. Okay, the 5 minute entry. So if we do go to the 5 minute right now, okay, we'll just zoom into this area. Why did I label that area? Okay, and these are the little very tiny things that most people will not teach you or do not understand. Okay, so we know we had this yellow box, which was our whole order block area that we'll be interested in buying. So now within this yellow box, what do? We simply find areas that would be interested in taking a trade. So initially, before this actually took off, how did I do this? I marked out this area here. I was interested in this area. Okay, if we was finding a trade, we could potentially put our stop just below that. Okay, about 14 pips. Okay, we also had this tiny gap IPA in here. Okay, so from that wick to this wick, we had this tiny gap. There's missing price action. Okay, so we knew we had the IPA. So again, as you guys can see, if I just hover off this box, okay, and I put it back on, you can see that's basically 50%. Okay, so I'll put a line at that 50%. Okay, most people would teach you to use your fibs and mark it out, but that's just my cheat way of doing it. Okay, so you can see if we've done a fib, again, 50%. So we know 50% of IPA is basically what we look for to catch trades, and then again you could just put your stop below it, and that'll be a very cheeky trade. And that's exactly what it was, a very cheeky trade. So why do you think now we could afford, and we'll go back to the 15-minute time frame, okay, why do you think now we could afford to simply have a stop this small? Okay, but to be on the safe side, what I always do, I just leave it extra room just in case. Okay, because I know some people would like a 2-3 put stop loss, but sometimes it's better just to be in a trade very accurately, okay, and then giving it some room. So again, like I said, we could have had not even a 1 pip stop if we wanted to, Okay, you could have made it a 1 pip stop, but just not being a greedy person that I am, I'll just allow it a 5 pip stop. Okay, so when we see this, we now see how we tap into this area very accurately. Okay, and this was the trade. And again, we just had our entries ready. Okay, so we tap into that area very, very cleanly. Okay, what's the next thing we want to see? Okay, we've already seen everything else we need to see. We see our liquidity wipe happening, which has happened here. Okay, we've seen our accumulation. We've seen our Asia session highs, lows being ran. We've seen our spring. We've seen everything we need to see. We've seen a break of structure. Okay, so we see all of that. Okay, if I'm just taking this back a tiny bit more. Okay, so let's just imagine you did miss that specific trade right there. Okay, how else would you be able to get in? Okay, again, you could go to the smaller time frames. Okay, so let's just say you missed that Hollywood Instagram trade right there, because again, you know how people are, print screen their trades and put on Instagram and say they're the greatest traders in the world. Okay, all credit to you. Okay, so we see that if you miss this Hollywood trade in here, okay, what can you do next? Okay, same thing. You just look for the market structure. We broke the high. It comes back into this area here. Okay, on a 5 minute, it's not so clear. It just on a 5 minute, all we did is show this IPA, and then we went on 15 minute. It actually shows you this a little bit clearer. Okay, so if you missed this trade here, again, we got a 1, 2, 3 wicks. Okay, again, the community will know what that is. They understand why we look for that kind of pattern on all time frames, not just the smaller time frames. But we see this happen. So break structure here and it comes back. So this is another safe entry. So here you would have had a 5 pip stop. Okay, you would have had a 5 pip stop from the entry. From this entry, simply, again, you could have had a 4 pip stop. Or if you want to be extra safe, just put it 10 pips below here, and then you let it ride. Again, what time is this happening? Surprise, surprise. Bang on 7 o'clock at London session. Okay, so again, you see how we mix in time and price, market structure, and various other little factors to execute our trades. And then what is the result of that trade? And what areas are we looking for take profit? Like I showed you at the beginning of this analysis, we said minimum, we need to get back into the supply over here. Okay, so just like that now, from this area, we're going to catch that trade. We're looking for this as our overall TP. So you can see about 295 to 300 pips is basically what we're looking for. Okay, minimum. But what have we also got here? We also had this area that I was talking about earlier as well. What does that mean? We had H1 IPA over here. We had that supply zone over there. We also got a supply zone over here as well. So I said, even if we did minimum come into here, still kept going up, I will not be complaining. Okay, I don't mind if I didn't catch a sell from here, because we're making money to take out this internal high. Okay, we're taking out that internal high to come into the supply where there's H1 IPA and the supply here also. So as we hit play, and as this went on for the day, I mean, it happened quite rapidly, actually. Okay, you can see it just, yeah, here we are. We're close enough to the supply zone right now. Okay, so we keep on doing it. And here, actually, I remember there was a, where was it again? It was on a 30-minute time frame. We actually managed to catch a secondary trade from this. Okay, so again, from this 30-minute time frame here, okay, we managed to catch a secondary trade from that, which was, again, as you saw at the beginning of the video, that print screen where we had 2 trades in there. Okay, so simply just like that, we caught this trade, quit again, and then we said let's ride it up to our TP area. Okay, so we hit play. Okay, and just like that, okay, our TP area has been hit perfectly. Okay, so overall, just from that trade, okay, we first caught trade from down here. Okay, minimum was going to target these areas, supply in here. Okay, and then we wanted to target other ones. So as you can see, catching that trade 2 times would have been very sweet. Okay, overall, we had a TP of 370 pips. Okay, if you twin traded it, which I usually do, okay, that 370 pips then turns to double. Okay, and then you stack up in your trade here again, add 3 or 4 trades. Okay, you could take 80% partial, 60%, whatever it is you're comfortable with. Just take some money off the board and then let the rest run, because now you've banked some money and you don't have to worry about nothing else. Okay, so we do this, and we actually stack up on our trades right here again. So from here to here was another 100 and let's say 140 pips. Again, you add in that to the existing 370 pips you would have been catching from the bottom, and just like that, you've got a crazy trade. Nearly on this one pair, nearly 1,000 pips if you twin traded it. If you stacked up on it, that's nearly 1,000 pips on just one pair. Okay, and this is what I keep on saying to people: you do not need to trade every single thing in the world to actually catch a lot of money or make a lot of money in the forex market. You could literally stick to 5 or 6 pairs, and that's what I do. Okay, I trade specifically 5 or 6 pairs, and that's it. Okay, if someone shows me a trade that's good, and I was like, you know, that might make a lot of money or whatever else, I look at it. I would not add it to my watch list, which I usually do. I would not add it to my watch list, and then I would say, all right, cool, let's take this trade. Is what am I risking? Okay, I do not take any trades as minimum 1 to 7. Obviously, if it turns out to be a 1 to 75, 1 to 74, 1 to 73, I mean, we all would love trades like that, right? But minimum 1 to 7 is a trade risk to reward ratio that I'll only look at. Okay, so that was a breakdown of GJ very quickly and understanding why we took this trade, understanding why we are now. I mean, I'm still holding a position in this. Okay, this is, yeah, you can see again when I print screen this again 1 to 73. Okay, so this is why we took this GJ trade. Okay, and this is why we are now still sitting in this trade. Okay, so as we speak right now, I'm just going to exit all the replay mode. Okay, we are still holding this trade, and we're getting very close to another trigger. Well, we did. I got triggered in already. Okay, and you can see what price is doing right now. So again, you can see that's the original trade we did have. Okay, and as we speak, we did catch trades from here as well. Okay, so yesterday we triggered into this area. Okay, on a 4 hour, we just tapped the remorse candle in here. I also had some IPA, we tapped into that, and then as of today, we continue to rise. So GJ, like I said, is a very, very sweet pair. And the next target now we'll be looking for is the supply around the 154.767 area. Just come into the supply, clear all these highs, and then yeah, we'll be living very great. It's been a great 2-3 weeks trading GJ. Okay, and like I said, I do not trade a lot. Okay, so you can see I've got gold on here 3 times, oil, GU, GJ, and obviously the DXY, because we need to understand what the DXY is doing for our various other moves. Okay, so for the DXY right now, still waiting for it to come back into this area. Okay, but other trades we did catch today was gold. Okay, and maybe this will be a future case study. Okay, because gold was absolutely ridiculous. Okay, so yeah, we caught this trade from there. Okay, and then literally rallied all the way here, and then now as we speak, it's dropping back down. But again, a very, very quick trade. All we wanted was to clear this high, so we caught this trade this morning into there. Okay, about 167 pips, and then now we're seeing this little tank happening. Okay, so that was a quick intro. Okay, very quick intro to what these kind of series and these kind of videos are going to be about. Okay, I'm looking forward to doing these a lot, and yeah, like I said, we're going to be doing a giveaway. So unfortunately, I did forget the book in my house. I didn't bring it to the office. Okay, but again, like I said, description is going to have everything you need to know to win the book and the £50 cash prize. Okay, so I'll be putting that in the description. So watch out for that. I hope one of you do win. Okay, I'm sure one of you will win when you enter, because that's what we're doing it for. Okay, so I look forward to actually doing a cash prize, giving a book away, and potentially meeting one of you. Okay, maybe coming to the office. Who knows? We'll meet in due time, right? So until next time, until the next video, I wish you a successful week. I wish you successful trading. Until next time, take care.